Hello, everyone. Good morning. I have the honor to be in conversation with Dr. Mary Grace Zou. She is the convener of the KZWF. She will tell you more about KZWF. That's a very fine cookie organization. And she's going to tell us what, according to her, could be the way forward to establish peace in Manipur. Hello, Doctor. Good morning and Jai Hind.
Good morning, Major Ali. I'm really happy that you have called me for the show, and it's really an honor to be here in your show. I'm Dr. Mary Grace Zou, the convener of. I can't write the whole thing because I think the characters are limited, so I could only write KZWF. So it's Cookie Zou Women's Forum, Delhi NNCR. So this forum has just come up after the violence has started. uh, the women folk, we felt that we need to come together and be the voice. The motto of this forum is voice for the voiceless.
Thank you, Doctor.
So,
Yes, in fact, you need no introduction at all. People have all seen your interview with Karan Thapar. In fact, I was in conversation with a very senior journalist from Manipur just now on the phone, and I made Dr. Mary also speak to her like that, to the very senior journalist, and even she was appreciating your interview with Mr. Karan Thapar. Now, Dr. Mary, I mean, of course, it's very, very sad what's happening in Manipur. All our heart bleeds, and of course, I don't know if you would know my affiliation and my relationship and my bonding attachment towards Northeast. When I say Northeast, I do not say Manipur or Nagaland only. I mean all the Kuki tribe or the Maite community. Overall, Northeast. I always say that they are very, very good people. They always keep their word. They always stand by what they say. They are very cultured, principled people, men of ethics. When I say men of ethics, I mean I include the women as well because you have the. So what has gone so wrong now that women and children are being attacked? Even they are not being spared, Doctor.
just before I say all these things, I'm really humbled by what you said earlier regarding me because I'm just a humble mother. Like we've just come forward. Like I'm not even an activist, and I even don't know like how I have to go about. I think it's my people who have just supported me. So I think that's the only way we have come out as a very humble mother, as a concerned mother of what the sufferings are. The real thing which I came forward is that when I see the women, the mothers losing their children, the wives losing their husbands, and they can't even have the last rites for the bodies which are lying in the morgue. So this really pains me. That's one of the reasons why I've come forward. You have seen that so many women have been raped, leave behind the lady, like the two ladies who have been paraded naked. There are women who have been raped in some car wash in uh, where they've been working in one car wash shop, and then they've been raped, and the bodies are still lying in the morgue. And this is really very painful, and this is something which we never think about, which I can never think about, and which people can at least, I don't know, now that the world has waken up. But I think for almost 2.5 months, we have been trying to say that this is what has been done to us, to our community, to one ethnic community, which is a Kuki Zo ethnic community. We have been targeted just because we belong to this particular Kuki Zo ethnic community. This is what is surprising me. I have not seen, I don't know, because in the history of Manipur, we have small, small clashes coming up, which already came up, but then it's never to this magnitude. So I think this is something which is really shaken us. Also, we really don't know what we have to do, and it really pains us. And I think I can tell you that I just spoke to one of my friends who is displaced. She's a doctor and she's displaced in Mizoram. She told me that the moment I heard about these two women paraded naked and their video going viral, she said, I can't sleep for 2 days. I think this is something which the women, especially I'm not saying that the other women don't think so much and they don't feel so much, but I think this is something we as a community, we really feel ashamed of ourselves, ashamed of the country, how things have been handled. Because it's not a day when the violence started. The violence has already started on 3rd of May, and today it's more than 80 days now. I don't know what is really going to happen. We really don't know what is going to be the way forward. But I don't want to be very negative about things. But to be very positive, I feel that people, uh, the parties in any political lines also, like they'll go beyond politics and think about humanity. I think this is the time we have to think about peace and humanity. We cannot let our people suffer. We cannot let our people keep on dying. You can I can just tell you that, like, see, one community, it's very clear from the beginning that, like, one particular community has been, the Kuki Zoos have been attacked by the Métis. I feel very sad when I say Métis, because I don't mean the whole of the Métis community. Because now I'm compelled to say, because I have to describe the community. When I say mob, I cannot say just mob. Mob can comprise of different types of people, like belonging to different ethnicity. But now when it's say mob, it's the Métis mob. So we have to be very clear about this. So I'm really sorry, like, to use this particular committee, because uh, we can't help it, because even the chief minister himself, as the chief minister of Manipur, what he has said on the on his Imphal media, I should say Imphal media, on his Manipur media, like televisions, he has declared war against the Kuki militants. How can he say, as the chief minister, how can he term and allege that all the Kukis are militants? So these are certain things. I think this is going beyond ethics as a chief minister. And then the same followed with the Kokomi, which is the organization which is fighting for the integrity of Manipur. I think if you really want the integrity of Manipur, you should have watched your footsteps earlier. You cannot just try and wipe out one particular community and then just say that, like, okay, we want the integrity of Manipur. I think things have to be very clear about it. So it's very clear. I have pointed out in my earlier interview also that, like, this is a particular attack on a particular, it's a direct attack on a particular community, which is the cookies zone. The iCards have been checked. If you see all the instances, if you hear from the victims, even in educational, at least in localities, they can find out which locality. But in educate all the educationals, be it the national, the regional Institute of Medical Sciences, be it the Jawaharlal Nehru Institute of Medical Sciences, be it Sija Hospital, which is one of the medical colleges which has just come up. It's a private college, but still, then, like, and then even the nursing schools are not spared, even the polytechnics are not spared. So these are things which really pains us. Like, the certificates have been burned. They burn in Manipur University, which is a central university. The mob, which are mostly like the Rambai Tangals and the Meitei Lipuns, they go inside the girls' hostel, go and drag out the girls and say that, show me your iCard. So is this a way, like, you say, you talk about integrity? I think it's a shame to even bring out a committee, a committee on integrity of Manipur. I think we have to really think before we act, because our actions always come back as a reaction. For every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. I think it's very sad. We are not asking for a separation. We have been separated by the Métis. We have been chased away from the Imphal Valley. That's one thing which has to be very clear. We have not separated ourselves. The Métis have wanted us to be separated from them. They have chased us away. And I'll share on your show that, and I have been talking to other medias also. I said, like, see, if you really want peace, the immediate peace to prevail, the Meitei mobs or the Arambai Tengals led by the Mera Paibis, they have to stop attacking the Kuki Zou villages. We are just there protecting our villages, the land which we have inherited from our forefathers. So it's very sad that, like, we have been attacked with all the best machinery, And I've just learned that like 2 days ago, like continuous attacks have been there. They have been firing 5-inch mortar. Forget about 2-inch mortar. It's 5-inch mortar now. So I think we have to be very. I think the world community has to really come together and stop this violence. Otherwise, we don't expect anything from the government anymore. So I think the whole idea of the Major Lipun chief coming out in the open media about talking about annihilation of a particular community, this has been really happening in the ground for 80 days now. So I think we have to really come up and say that enough is enough. We want an India which is equal, which respects each and every country, each and every citizen of the country, not hate a particular people based on their ethnicity. I think we need to be very clear about this. I'm really sorry to say about this, but then I have to speak out because I really feel pained, and people are really pained by what has been happening. I know people have been talking of this viral video, but we can talk of instances. I have the whole uh, uh, photographs where women have been raped, who have been tortured. A 7-year-old boy whose mother is a
7-year-old boy. Yeah,
Métis.
I know. You're talking about Tonsing
Yeah,
Hansing,
yeah,
his father Joshua
yeah.
Hansing, and his aunt
Yeah, so
Lydia.
I just want to
The
highlight
son
one
of a
thing to
Buddhist
read.
father
Yeah,
and a Maite Christian mother.
yeah. So I'm
I
just wiping
interviewed
my
his
tears.
father. I interviewed Joshua, in fact. It's there on my channel. I interviewed Joshua.
So, Major Shah, like what I want to tell you is that, like, see, in these, why I want to mention these is that I want to tell you that, like, anybody who is related by marriage, whether a cookie girl married to a Meitei man or a Meitei woman married to a cookie man, they are not safe. There are 3, 4 instances already, and just yesterday I spoke to one of my friend who got married to a Meitei man, and then I was surprised when she called me up. She said like she has come to Delhi, so I'm really surprised. I said like how come yeah, you came up because like I know at least you live in a post locality. She said like I can't help it because when my family call me, I have to speak in my dialect. So I said I felt that I'm not safe anymore. That's the reason why I came up. And then I just met like on Saturday I met one lady. Uh, I'm not disclosing like where she is because she told me that I can't disclose myself because I fled because I left my children and my husband behind. I felt that I'm not safe, so I fled the place. So she said like I don't want to disclose myself because they can attack my family, my children and my husband. So she's a cookie who is married to a Meitei man. So these are the instances, and we can tell you like we can give you like incidents where like where a Meitei woman who's married to a cookie man, they have been killed. So I don't remember the name, but then there's one lady also, and then I've heard that there's one lady like I think she must be around 60 plus. Like they told me that like even her children has already got married, so I think she must be quite not a young lady, so like she's more than 60 plus. So these are instances like which I started really wondering like this is a real to say that this is a real ethnic cleansing of a particular community, whether we I think like whether the perpetrators accept or not. I think we cannot be fooled. The world cannot be fooled. I think the world knows about it. We have to accept it. So this is very sad about it, and we cannot be just targeted because we belong to a particular community. And we are not. We have been alleged that we are illegal immigrants. We are being alleged that we are poppy cultivators. We have been alleged that we are militants or narco terrorists. And I can share you one uh, Facebook post where Brinda Thonausam, she is a ex. MPS,
I know
Manipur
Brinda. I know
police.
Brinda. Well, I know.
You know,
I had the honor of interviewing with her. I've been with her
she
on
has
a panel as
countered,
well.
she has countered very rightly, saying that like, what are we talking about narco terrorism when the chief minister itself may be a narco terrorist? So these are things like, I don't know, like it's very easy to blame, point at one finger with the at the other person when the other fingers are pointing at you. So I think we have to be very careful. I think these are all. Uh, mm, the action of some person and the reaction coming back. So I think it's a truth, and then the truth, no matter how bitter the truth is, the truth has to be the truth. So this is what I stand for. I stand for my people. I have been telling in some other media also. I said like, I will not stand for, even if my people is on the wrong, I'll never stand with them. I know that my people are on the right side, so that's the reason why I stand for my people. And I'll stand for the rights of my people. I've been hearing from the victims from the horse's mouth. I think I really feel sad about it. Forget about me. I think even from people from other communities can't stop shedding their tears. I think this is which we never expect, that in a uh, democratic country like India, we cannot expect in the 21st century, we cannot expect this type of widespread violence, which has been happening not for just few days, but it's already 2.5 months. I really feel pity for people back home who are suffering, the children who are suffering. I, in fact, said that like, I really feel sad for, in fact, for the youths of Manipur. They are compelled to hold guns instead of books. They're compelled because and they cannot go to school. And all the all the relief, the schools are used for relief centers. So this is something which is very sad, and then which is really very painful for me as a mother. So I really feel that I don't know what is the whole point of suspension of internet for almost like more than 2.5 months, when you can in fact like get the videos which are to be leaked, when you can't stop videos leaking, and then when you can't stop like whoever can still access the internet. I think, and then this is something which we have to really like think about it. And then one thing I would like to talk is about uh, that disparity in terms of justice also. When you talk about disparity, when I say disparity in justice, is that uh, on 6th of July, when all the cookies Zou have fled for their lives from in the Imphal Valley, there's one Miss Donghaiching Hangzhou. She stayed behind because she's a mentally challenged person. So she thought that like, okay, things will come back to normalcy. So she didn't come back, and then uh, people have been calling her and saying that why don't you come back to uh, our hometown. Then she said like, see, I'm okay because the people, at least people around me, some Nagas are like taking care of me. Some tribes who belong to the Naga community, they are taking care of me, they are giving me food. So she was quite happy about it. But one fine day, like, as long as she was within that area, the people of that area knew that she's a mentally challenged person. But the moment she came out from that locality, because now that she's alone, she feels that like she has to reach out to her people. So she came out to meet some of her people who stays in a different locality, which is called Paitaveng. So on the way, she was caught by the Mera Palvis, and she was handed over to these Arambai Tengols and the Meitei Lipun outfits. So that's where she was killed. And then, in fact, the whole narrative changed, and then they put the narrative as she is a suicide bomber. I don't know. This is something which is, uh, I really don't know what to say. See, I always feel that like, as a man, if you do something, you have to acknowledge that you have done it. But then do something and blaming others, is this is something which I really don't like as a human being. So because that's the reason why we have to really think as a sane human being. As a human being, you have to think that like, my actions are going to come back to me. My actions are going our actions are going to come back to us. I think this is the reason why we, the Cookies O people, we have been trying to be very humane to people who have been in the to the Métis in our hill areas. We have not even harmed anybody of them, any one of them. So we have left them unharmed. So these are instances. And then regarding the disparity in justice is that on 15th of July, almost after 1 week, this one another mentally challenged lady by the name Miss Lucy Marine. She belongs to a Naga community. She also was the same thing happened, like which was done to Miss Dongai Ching, who belongs to a Kukizo community. And
On
you know what
15th, I know
happened?
this one. On 15th, it
Yeah,
happened. 15th evening, it happened.
on 15
I
July,
spoke.
15,
I spoke to
yeah,
the
I'll
former
just
president
tell
of the
you.
Naga Oho. I
Hmm,
interviewed him on the same channel. In fact, I
yeah,
interviewed the former president of the Naga Ho, and we discussed that. We did discuss that.
yeah. No, I'm just trying,
They are
just
some
trying to put the
there are
disparity in
some
justice.
there are some strange
So,
comments coming in. I would like
yeah,
to highlight it, and I would like to just see some gentleman. I don't know who it is has written this. Mr. Major, go to Manipur. Let me tell him one thing.
hmm,
I have seen whoever is this commenting. I don't know who it is. For his knowledge, I must tell him that I might have seen more Manipur than the person who's commenting. I don't know whether what who he is. Okay, so don't tell me to go to Manipur. I have gone to Manipur several times. I started my schooling from the Northeast. I grew up there. I've served there. So, though people should not tell me that, and I am doing this because I feel for people from Northeast. And he mentioned that comment. How many cookies have you interviewed? Well, I've interviewed a lot of Maites as well. You see my channel, Lieutenant General Kaun Himalaya Singh, Lieutenant General Ellen Singh. You see how many Maites I have interviewed. My childhood friends are Maites and cookies as well. I've asked my childhood friends who are Maites to come. I've been pestering them for over a month. They're not coming. So is it my problem? I have spoken to Mr. Okram Ebobi Singh, the Chief Minister. I'm in touch with him. I've asked, requested him to come for an interview. Hopefully he should be gracing. I have spoken to the MLA, Mr. Nishikant Sapam. Hopefully he should be obliging me very soon. They are, in fact, I have even spoken to Mr. Pramod Singh, the chief of the Maite chief of that organization you were talking about. They are yet to come. So it's not that. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you can't accuse a person who's neutral who wants peace in Northeast, nothing else. I generally feel for people from Northeast. Let me tell you one small thing. There was an incident. I don't know, Dr. Mary, if you saw that video where also from Cookie, why you kill him. Okay, there is another comment coming in, but there was an incident where when I was posted in the Northeast as a young captain, I was taken captive with four other officers and one Jawan. Five soldiers were captive by an underground faction. I will not like to name further on this. You can see the videos there on my YouTube channel. We were taken captive. There was a black cloth tied around our eyes. There was a weapon kept on our head. And we were told you have 2 minutes to say your prayers. But one thing, after that we're going to shoot you. But one thing, when they did that act, ma'am, they were very respectful, which means even an adversary can show respect at a time. And they said, we have nothing against you personally. Please don't mind, sir. We have orders to shoot you. That's what he said. Uh, what I did was, at that time, I knew, no, we have only 2 minutes. Either way, we are going to die. So I spoke to him not in his language, but in his dialect. And that's when he opened our eyes. And he sat down, we sat down. They made Maggie for us, that Tiari Chow Chow, those bye-bye noodles. And they made tea for us. And we were let off without a scratch. So I say, they keep their word. People from Northeast, they are men of principles. They have ethics. They have strict code of conduct. They never used to touch women and children. Only last year I saw an ambush and the assassination of Colonel Biplab Tripathi, the commandant of the Assam Rifles, where his wife, his child, and four other Jawans were killed. They were martyred. And now I'm seeing violence on women and children, and it makes my heart bleed. Because my best friends are people from Northeast. When I say from people from Northeast, I say they are Nagas. Also, they are Chakmas from Mizoram, all over. They are Patamis from Arunachal. They are Garos, Khasi from Shillong. I have Paite friends. I have Sanamai friends as well. So the person who's commenting over there should know one thing. I don't know if he's been to all 221 Tangkul villages. Probably even if he's gone to Ukhrul, he would have gone to Shangshak perhaps, or stayed there for a day or night. Has he gone there on foot? So people who are contesting that about me, my sentiments, my feeling, my love is for people from the Northeast, and people, I've got a lot of love from Northeast. Sorry, ma'am. I got a bit this thing about this comment. So you were telling about this, Dr. Mary, ma'am. Please.
Yeah, I think everybody has a right to defend. I don't accuse them of anything else. But the real thing is that, like, what I'm trying to point out is the disparity in justice. So I think it's us claim that the state government is still there, the chief minister is still sitting there as the chief minister of Manipur. So my only uh, say is that when one particular community has already been attacked on the 6th of July with the same type of uh, uh, violence, then what is the need of just coming out on 15 July? I'm not against any particular community, but then what I'm trying to say is that the chief minister, at least if he wants peace, then he has to come out. It has to be equal justice, be it like the Kuki-Zo community or the Naga community. You cannot just say that like the other person, the Kuki-Zo lady who died, is a suicide bomber. How can you just say something and then just label somebody like that? So this is very wrong. So as a chief minister, if he really wants to function and if he really wants that peace should prevail, then he should always start acting, because it's never too late to act. That's the way forward I'm talking about. So I think if he still continues trying to show that this disparity in terms of justice, getting justice uh, I think this will not be the way forward. I think this will really uh, be a total I really don't know, like the because this is something which is uncalled for, being a chief minister. And then talk about like the ghastly beheading of Mr. David Trigg on the 2nd of July. Forget about the other things. But if you say that, like we already know that the person who beheaded him, and he was being photographed with the head of Mr. David Trigg. The photographs has gone viral, but till now he's roaming around freely. So why do we have to let the videos to go viral? Why do the whole world or the whole country have to dictate uh, either the chief minister to do something? I think he has to act, because he knows that the whole thing, he knows about the incident. I think these are something which the chief minister has to do. If he really wants to talk about peace, he has to bring justice, at least the recent ones, which are very clear that who is the perpetrator. So I think this is something which is very important to go forward. Unless you do that, like I think you will keep on incite. The chief minister will keep on inciting the Métis, and the war will go on. It's not. I'm not. I don't even accept the warring of two communities. I would rather say that like the Métis keep on attacking the villages. When you talk about peace, you should stop attacking. If you want the dialogue to go or the peace process to go, then you have to stop attacking us. Well, how come you say that, like you talk about integrity of Manipur and you keep on attacking? This is not the way forward. We are not trying. We are demanding separate administration, not to be separated from India, not to be disintegrated from India. Will be very much part of India. We are Indians, but I only say is that we cannot be part of Manipur anymore, because we know that we cannot lose more lives in the hands of the Métis. The Métis, again, when I say it's the Arambai Tengon and the Métis Lipun, or the youth who have been incited by a particular group of people. So this is what I really want to tell people on the show, on your show also. I really don't want to let the violence continue. There should be peace on both sides. On both sides, when I say peace, means please stop attacking. Stop attacking the villages. enough. You have done enough in the valley, the Imphal Valley. It's like a valley of death for us. Even our, leave alone the common man, our elected members, representatives, all of them had a narrow escape. One,
Ma'am,
Mr. Gunjagin, who's a MLA, he's going to be crippled for the whole of his life. So I don't know, like, what are we really doing? I think this is real madness. No more words to say. This is not the way to go. I think we have to be
I
more
know.
sensible. Hmm.
Absolutely, ma'am. I totally agree with you. Ma'am, I will tell you a small anecdote. It was the year 2005 in the month of October. As a young captain, I was there in Northeast, and I was the ADC to the General Officer commanding the Spare Corps. Spare Corps takes care of the entire Manipur, entire Nagaland, entire Mizoram, entire Tripura, South Assam, and a bit of Arunachal now, if I'm not mistaken. And so there was a time when we came to someone's house again. I will not specify the detail in Northeast itself. And we entered someone, and in 2004, the infamous allegedly Manorma Devi rape case had just taken place. So there were a lot of anti-army, anti-Assam rifle sentiments, and the emotions were flared up, and the passions were flared up. So people would see us in uniform, and they would look at us as an adversary, even the locals. So what happened was, I said no. I mean, we won a lot of hearts and minds. I imbibe their culture, language, dialect, festivals, and I've made them feel that I'm one of them, and which is a fact. They are one of us. I'm one of them. And you know what I was told? I was told, Captain Ali, when we see you in uniform with your weapon, we see the army is here to protect us, and we no longer get intimidated by the army uniform. And it was a very, very big compliment. So one fine day in the year 2005 in October, we came to someone's house, came to a village in a hut. We entered the hut. The head of the family was slightly uncomfortable with our presence around. I sensed that within 2 3 minutes, and I told my troops, my boys, let's go back. Let's go. I don't want to make anyone uncomfortable. And there was Armed Forces Special Power Act, which meant you could enter any house, you can search any house, you can arrest anyone on suspicion. No arrest warrant required, no search warrant required. But that should not be misused in any way. So I said, let's go back. But the head of the family did not let us go back. He made us sit down. He insisted that we sit down. They served us water. They served us tea, very nice tea. We went back after that. And the next day, I learned something. You know what I learned, ma'am?
Hmm.
I learned that this family was so poor, they didn't have tea powder in the house. They didn't have milk in the house. And why
Hmm.
was the head of the family, uncomfortable? He was uncomfortable because suddenly some guests have come to your house, and there's
Hmm.
nothing to serve to the guest.
I know.
So he borrowed the tea powder. The family borrowed milk, and they served us tea from that. And I learned something very painful that day, that that family with little children didn't eat their meal, didn't have dinner that night, apparently. My heart bled. I was deeply pained. This is the large heartedness of people from Northeast. This is a genuineness.
I think it's,
They are so
yeah, I think,
hospitable. They're so loving,
yeah, yeah.
affectionate.
Hmm.
And that is the
Hmm.
reason when this comment came that, Major, why are you doing this? Why are you interviewing people? What do you get? Go to the ground. Don't tell me to go to
Hmm.
the ground. And let me tell you, even after I left the army in 2008, I have gone to the Northeast every year. Every year. Be it for judging a beauty pageant, be it social work, be it something. So I generally feel for people from the Northeast passionately from the bottom of my heart. And
Hmm.
if it's not my problem, if I'm inviting everyone, I'm inviting even Nagas to come and speak. Everyone, and I'm a good listener. Right now, I've spoken a bit too much. I'm so sorry, but I like to listen to people, like to understand. Dr. Mary, thank you very much. I'm truly grateful
No, can
for
I
your
just say, since you brought up something about AFSPA, can I just say something
Yes, please
regarding
do.
the
Please,
disparity?
please.
Yeah, disparity. Even regarding AFSPA also, like one thing is that, like, I don't know why the chief minister have to withdraw AFSPA in the valley area a couple of months before the violence started. So I don't know, like, how can a disparity between, even in terms of all these thing has happened, like even in the hills and the valleys already. So this is one of the reasons why the army cannot act in the valley area. This is something which is hindering the peace to be there in the valley. Once peace is there in the valley, then I think the hills are already in peace. Once the valley is settled and they stop attacking us, the hills are already in peace. So I really wish that our spies invoked in the valley area, the same thing as which is there already existing there in the hills, so that like peace, the armies can really do their work and peace will prevail. You have to. It's time that we have to tame the people in the valley. They
Ma'am, it's
cannot
a very
just roam around and keep on attacking the hills.
over over 80
So
days and
that,
Manipur has been burning, and I
yeah,
am really
so
surprised.
we cannot
And
attack. So the people of the valley area has to be tamed. They cannot keep on going to the villages, to the hills, and get killed there and say that like our man has been killed. Naturally, when somebody come to your house to attack, you have to kill them. You have to defend yourself. So I think this has to go very clear to everybody. So we need the center has to revoke our spy in the valley area, so that the army can act and control the Meitei mob in the valley, so that peace will prevail. Peace is already there. In the hills. We are already living in peace. We have the village volunteers who are guarding our border area, because the Meitei mobs keeps on attacking us. Even yes, the past 2 days they have been attacked with 5-inch mortar. So I think this has to be really thought about by the center if they really want peace. This
absolutely,
is
ma'am.
something which a strong message I want to really put out to the center.
As in the novel War and Peace, Leo Tolstoy said, being peaceful is better than being right. And I trust me, I feel for Northeast like my own
No,
land. I am
no, I
generally
say
trying.
peace is that when you are in peace, you let others also to be in peace. When you are not peaceful, you will not let others to be in peace. This is the problem. If there is peace in the valley, then the hills are already in peace. I hope you got my point, because
Absolutely.
the mobs will not start attacking the hills and will live in peace. So there should be somebody who has to tame the Meitei mobs in the valley. So the AFSPA has to be revoked in the valley. There should be no disparity between the hills and the valley in terms of AFSPA.
Well, I generally feel for both the Kuki tribe and the Maiti community as well. I generally feel for humanity. I feel human at the end of the day. It is our India's nation's loss. A beautiful state like Manipur, there are people dying, they're being killed brutally, mercilessly. Women. I mean, it is really, really sad, and people should be concerned. We have neglected Northeast for a very, very long time, and I generally feel so. And please do not, people who are trying to take initiative and step forward and come forward, please don't cast aspersion on them, and please don't this thing that also. And one thing, and don't try to, please do not, please make bridges. I would appeal to everyone, not just in Manipur, everyone in the world. Build bridges, make love, speak to people. Dialogue is the way forward, and not war. Ma'am, thank you so much, Dr. Mary, for your time. It was very, very gracious of you. It was very
Thank you so
gracious
much.
of Dr. Mary Grace and to come on the show. Dr. Mary Grace, Zou, thank you very much. Really grateful to you, and for everyone who are
Thank you
listening
so
to
much.
us. Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
ma'am.
you so much.
Take care, ma'am. Jai Hind, ma'am.
Thank you. Jai Hind.
Just going